Hey everybody, welcome to the HERDFIT podcast with Dr. Sam Rhee and myself, Coach David Syvertsen. This podcast is aimed at helping anyone and everyone looking to enhance their healthy lifestyle through fitness, nutrition, and most importantly, mindset. All right, welcome back to the HERDFIT podcast. I am Coach David Syvertsen here with my co-host, Dr. and Coach Sam Rhee. And we have two special guests to kick off our 2023 Noble CrossFit Open coverage. And the reason all three of these guys up here right now, they kicked off the CrossFit Open at Bison. They just got done with 23.1. And 23.1 is a repeat from 2014. The irony here, the selfish irony, is this was the first year that CrossFit Bison was open. So this was our first open as a gym when this workout came out. I think we had 5 of us signed up, and we're at 267 right now. The workout is as follows for guys and girls: 60 cal row, 50 toes to bar, 40 wall balls, 30 cleans, 20 muscle ups, ring muscle ups. Guys, all opening thoughts. We'll start off on the other side. We'll come back around. Sam, opening thoughts on the workout, your emotions coming into it.
I thought the first workout was supposed to be accessible and friendly to the public, and this was certainly not that, for sure. Thank you, Mr. Bosman, for that.
Kat.
Yeah, I agree. I thought I didn't see this one coming at all. I thought it was definitely harder for the first one than I anticipated anyway.
Mm-hmm. Jules?
Yep, I would also agree that
Closer.
I would also agree that it was really hard. I was definitely nervous for the 50 toast bar.
So opening thoughts on that from the coaching perspective, like, because we always talk about how accessible the open workout wants to be week one, because a lot of people are still on the fence. And if they make a workout that's too difficult, everyone that's on the fence will be like, you know what, I'm not going to sign up. This workout's too tough. So the past few years, and this dates back multiple, probably 5-6 years, the first workout of the open has always been something that's very not easy. They're never going to be easy. They're always going to be hard. But when I say simple, meaning the mass CrossFitter, the mass group of CrossFitters can do most of the movements, if not all of the movements. So the good scores come down to just work capacity. How many reps per minute can you sustain? So when you see a workout that has 2 relatively high skill movements, 50 toes to bar, and 20 ring muscle ups, the first time we've seen the rings in years, people will immediately just look at those evil words and say, wow, this workout's too tough. Now, this workout, in my opinion, the fact that you're going to be putting ring muscle ups into the workout, you know, we talked about this in our preview, that they're at the end, and they're very hard to even get to. There are going to be a lot of people that freak out about the ring muscle-ups that are not going to get there. It's like that workout, 60, 50, 40, 30, that alone is tough. And you're going to see on this leaderboard the amount of people in this workout that get 180 reps as their score. That means they got to the muscle-ups. It's going to be the most common score worldwide. So what matters is the tiebreaker. So that is going to be, so you're going to have thousands and thousands of people with the score of 180, but you're going to be ranked based on how fast you got there. And that's where I go into, this is better than saying, hey, 10 rounds of 6 cal row, 5 toes to bar, 4 wall balls, 3 cleans, 2 muscle ups. Why? Because you would have people at the rings for 12 minutes not able to get one. Whereas here, if that happens, you're only there for a couple minutes. So my devil's advocate answer on, is this too hard of an open workout for the first week in this all-inclusive world that we're living in? I think this is actually a really good way to start off the open. So, Sam, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I will say when I first heard it announced, I went through the 7 stages of, I was angry and I was, bargaining, and then I finally got to the acceptance part of it. And I just said, it's another workout. I was a little pissed because, honestly, I can sort of do ring muscle-ups, but had I obviously known, I would have practiced them a lot more, but I didn't. Which is where Bosman zigs when we're all expecting a zag.
Yeah.
So next year, I'm going to just have to prep everything because this is the way Bosman works things, right?
Yeah, we're all going to work on ring muscle-ups, and then they're not going to be in the open.
They're not going to be in the open again. So I think the lesson was prepare generally for lots of stuff. Don't expect anything.
Okay.
Or maybe expect everything. And so I know you'll talk about the difference between guys and girls.
Yep.
I will talk about my experience when I went through it, just to give some numbers.
Yeah.
The first thing was I went slower than I actually probably could have on the row. I held to about a 1,200 cal whatever split.
Yep.
And that was very doable for me for the most part.
Did that add up to about 3:30?
Almost just actually 3 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Just okay.
Yeah,
3 minutes at
about
1200 pace.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that worked out for me. And then I was able to get to the toes-to bar. My toes-to-bar are not the strongest, so I ended up doing like maybe 8 or 9 or 10. And then by the time I got into like halfway in, I started doing 2s, 3s, and then a couple singles at the end. It just got so hard. Like I thought got a lot better at toes-to bar than I was. That core just got shot. And then the wall balls were not awful for me. I just stuck to 5s, and I just pretty much got through it for the most part. And then I had I think like 3 or 4, like 3 minutes maybe, or 2 minutes, 2 minutes maybe for the ring muscle ups.
You went all singles on the cleans, right?
I did. Oh yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
That was actually
That was hard.
that was the sticky point for
Yeah,
me. So
yeah.
you get, and I was just talking to Kevin Yurchak, and he remembers it. It's exactly this way. You get into like about 12, and you don't want to pick up that barbell anymore.
Yeah, and you're not even halfway at that point.
and you're just like, I have 18 more, and you're like, you want to take more rest. And Chase Ingram said it, you just keep bleeding time, and you don't even realize it while you're doing the workout because you keep resting. So the only thing that got me through it were all the people cheering,
Yeah.
like the whole Bison crowd. I was just like, I can't let more than a couple I know it was longer than it probably actually was, but it felt like they just kept making me pick it up a little bit faster, got through the 30, and then I managed barely to get one ring muscle up at the end, and they were so happy for me. It was like, I was just so glad not to fail. And then I thought I had another one in me, and I just didn't have, when you hear Ingram say, it's not the getting up, it's the press out. And it was so true. By the time I got there, it's because I was catching low on the rings because I was so tired. I didn't have enough strength, and I'm pretty good at the press out. I couldn't press out for the last 2
You're
attempts.
smoked at that point. Like, think about all the movement patterns your body does prior to the muscle up.
Yeah.
All of the pulling on the rings,
Yeah.
the lats on the toes of bar, the pushing on the wall ball, the
Yeah.
pulling and the catching. Even the catch on the clean is taxing.
Yeah.
Like everything, all the muscles and movement patterns that you need for the ring muscle up, they've been taxed by this point.
It's a conditioning one for the guys. Like the better your conditioning is as a guy, the better off you're going to do in this. It's not about strength at all. It's all about conditioning.
All right, so Kat, give me some feedback on what your strategy is. I think I want everyone to know is that these 3 athletes up here, they're actually, I've coached them on a couple different levels in a couple different forms. They're very different athletes, and I think that you guys can relate to one of them. So I really do want you guys to expose kind of like what you were thinking. What was A, your strategy, B, where did you get kicked in the face, and then how did you respond? So Kat, give me some of your outlook on the strategy.
I agree with Sam. I think that I disagree with you that it was just conditioning for the men. I think it was conditioning for the women too, and that's not my strength. So I was pretty winded, but I loved it now in hindsight because this was really all CrossFit. It was everything, and I don't think I have ADD, but in CrossFit, I think I do. Like, okay, just do this. Now we'll do something else. And then we'll do another one. And then we'll do something else. So I love that we're doing one thing and then we'll do another. And I'm short and don't have the greatest strength in my legs, so rowing is not my strength. I came in thinking I was going to row at a certain pace, and as soon as we got here, I said, I think I'm going to row a little bit slower than my pace.
Yeah.
And I just closed my eyes and kept it at that. And if I went over that,
What was the number?
I was going to say around 800.
800 cal per hour pace.
Right.
Yeah.
But I thought, maybe I'll just go a little slower than that.
Yeah.
And I just closed my eyes and stayed there.
Yeah.
And that was good because Coach Sam said, if you get to the bar, the toes to bar, and you are sucking wind in any way, shape, or form, you have blown the workout.
Yep.
You're done.
Yep. Yeah, so I want to touch on that after you guys both you and Jules talk about it, because you guys have very different approaches on the first 2 parts that I think everyone needs to hear.
Yeah, so I went super slow in the row.
Super slow in the row, and then you did
toes to bar on my jam. So
you were moving fast.
I just bolted out big sets just because I wanted to get done with it, and that was a lot of toes to bar.
How big were your sets?
Even 15, 10, 10, 15, Whoa, even those, I did 2 sets of 5 at the very end because of those last 2, I thought, wow.
Start cramping up again.
Like getting a little tight right now. And then wall balls, again, not my jam, so I just did 10s and chipped away. And then the cleans are just, by that time, I'm breathing heavy.
Yeah.
So I just have to learn that I should hang on to it because I can breathe better when I hang on to it. So when I let go of the bar, which other people might do also, then you start breathing heavier.
Yep.
And then that gets in your head. So if you can hang on, just hang on.
Okay.
Touch and go.
But yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But overall, I thought it was a great workout in hindsight because it has so many different things.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's what you said. It's CrossFit.
It's CrossFit, and you're going to have one of those is going to be your strength.
Yeah.
Right. And how far did you
just
get?
find it. I finished. I didn't get to the rings.
Finished right at the buzzer, kind of like 13:58ish, right? So that's great. So you finished that. That'll be your 180 score tiebreaker. Cool. Jules, the only non-masters athlete at the table right now.
It's an honor.
We're all very jealous right now. Let's talk about your row, your toes to bar. I think a lot of the strategy does have to come down to those first two movements. And I think different athletes will have very different approaches. It shouldn't just be, I'm just going to go for it. What was your approach, row, toes to bar?
So my approach for the row was to hold 1,000 pace,
Okay, it's
which
pretty
we
fast.
discussed.
Yep.
And then for the toes to bar, it was to go 5s because toes to bar are not my jam. And then it ended up going, 2s and then singles. And then wall balls are more my speed. So I was able to do 20 wall balls and then 10 and then another 10.
Nice.
That's great. That's a nice first set. It's nice to get to 20 right away.
Yep. And then for the power cleans, I also agree that it got sticky there. I just tried to break it up into 5s, and then I got to 20 cleans, and I was like, oh, I'm done. Great. Dramatic collapse to the ground, and then Karen was like, get back up.
You have 10 more.
10 more. And then I ended up finishing.
So moral of the story there, don't think that there's 20 cleans, there's 30. All right, so I want to talk about the difference between Kat and Jules because there's a lot of people like you're going to relate to one of that. Like, hey, I'm a good rower, but I struggle with some of the toes to bar. Hey, I'm good at toes to bar, I struggle with the row, okay? Here's one thing everyone could say. Whether you row 100, even 200 cals per hour, more or less, it will not be that big of a difference. So don't stress that much about it, right? Like if a 1200 is very comfortable for you, but 14 is like way not, just do the 12. It's not going to help you to even try 13. So just don't stress too much about the row. I think the only thing you could do wrong in the row is row too hard.
Yep.
I really do believe that.
For sure.
All right, because even if Kat's like, oh, I really slowed down. Okay, let's pretend she rode another 100 cal per hour. She would have been off there maybe 15 seconds quicker. It would have made a big difference. But this is the point where I think you have to figure out. If you struggle with toes to bar because this is the muscle fatigue, right? Your hip flexors get tired, your abs get tired, your lats get tired. I would actually be more inclined to row hard because, all right, it's okay if you get there out of breath because at some point they're going to turn into long breaks, not because you can't breathe, it's because your muscles are tired. So you're going to get breath back on a lot of your toes to bar because there's so much rest. Whereas if you're someone like Kat, you're going to be banging out big sets of toes to bar. And now that it turns into this aerobic movement where your breathing does get harder because you're engaged for so long, you probably want to dial back the row just a tad. Not for the time, it's for how you're breathing and how you feel going into the toes to bar. So that's like the first two things I would think about. RX scaled, Masters not. If you struggle with one more than the other, all right, just put some thought into that. Wall balls. This is where I think muscle tension, when you had different approaches here. Sam did all singles, right?
No, for wall balls?
No, sorry. For the clean. No, for the cleans.
Yes.
Okay. And you guys were going touch and go? All right. I think part of this needs to go into what your plan is for the workout. If you're trying to get to the rings in this workout and you want to do some damage there, get a rep, all right? I think it's very smart to do singles on the cleans. Almost all games athletes, the best athletes, better than all of us, they do singles. Because that tension, it matters, right? Like being quicker by 45 seconds, all right, as opposed by going touch and go, but needing a really long break and having all that muscle fatigue when you get to the rings is probably going to backfire. And I think this is going to be this. I'm really looking forward to some athletes are in my mind right now. How much discipline do you have to go singles on the cleans and then so that you have the juice at the ring muscle up? So let's touch on where the most local muscle fatigue you guys had in the workout. Jules, you start.
My forearms.
I think about what you're doing. Grip. Pulling on the toes bar, pulling on the row, pulling the barbell. Kat, most local muscle fatigue.
I think it's just my heart.
Yeah, the heart rate was the biggest thing. How did your shoulders feel on the wall balls? Like, were they tired at all?
No.
Okay, so like I think some people need to know like that toes to bar combo with the wall balls. It's pretty complementary, meaning don't be afraid to push the wall balls after the toes to bar.
Right. Yeah.
Sam.
I agree. I suck at wall balls, and they did not feel awful. The toes to bar felt awful. Your core gets shot in, and I was just doing singles, which is why I went to a low bar. You saw me pick a really low bar because I knew I was going to do a lot of singles at the end, and I wanted to be able to come down and jump right back up without having to waste too much time on that. And then at the end, I thought I could do more ring muscle-ups. I seriously went in thinking if I had a minute, I could do a couple. But by the time you get off those cleans, I just didn't have anything. I could barely get one. And it was very, very frustrating because you're trying to catch your breath. You don't have much time left. You see the clock ticking. And you're like, okay, I'm going to rest. And 30 seconds goes by like in a snap.
Right.
And you're still not ready to really get there.
How many times did you guys chalk up in this workout?
I think I'd put some chalk on in between each of my sets on the
Toes to bar. Okay.
Yeah.
Jules?
I want to say 2 times,
Okay,
but
all right.
maybe more.
All right, Sam?
At least 3 or 4 during the toes to bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes we use this as a crutch sometimes, like I need chalk, so I'm going to take a break. I will say this, I'm not against extra chalk. If you're someone that just needs that, mentally, but try to factor that into that's part of your rest. It's not get off the rig, chalk up my hands, now I get to the rest, right? Like transitions too. If you think you're going to be close to the buzzer or you want to get every second possible out of you can out of yourself, in chippers, I think transitions are really important, meaning you get off the rower, go bang out a set. I wouldn't chalk up before your first set. All right. And once you start getting to that muscle failure point, meaning your rate is just going to slow down because you have to allow time for your muscles to get ready to rock again, then chalk up. But chalk is part of your break. It's not part of the workout. So just no, you don't get credit. You don't get reps for chalking up. It's part of your rest. And that's one thing I've always noticed when I videotape workouts and look back. I'm like, you chalk up and then you do the hands on the knees. Try to avoid that. I think that's a little micro level thing that could just give you an extra 40 seconds at the end of the workout. Let's go into some of the math on this, right? I know there's a lot of people that already started hitting me up about reps per minute on this, right? And this is where I think this is more for advanced CrossFitters. I'm not talking about skill or talent level. I've been doing this for a while, right? Because you have to know yourself. But this workout is 110, 150. It's 200 reps, but I count the muscle up when I do reps per minute as 2 movements, the pull and the push. So really, to me, the whole round is 220 reps. So if anyone out there has the goal of trying to finish this workout, that's going to be about 15 reps per minute, 15 to 16 reps per minute and if that's your goal, okay? And I think you need to start thinking about that early on. This is up until the muscle ups, the movements are doable, right? It's not like we're telling you to snatch 225 pounds where you start failing left or right. If the muscle ups are at the beginning, it's hard to do reps per minute. If wall walks are in there, hard to do reps per minute because of the local fatigue in the shoulders that cause failure. But you're rowing, the reason I bring that up is the guys and girls, when you're on that rower, unless you're a monster, you don't need to row 25 cals in a minute. And I think that's where a lot of mistakes will be made. When you get to the rig, and unless you're a toes bar ninja, don't do 25 reps. I will say at CrossFit Bison, we have a very fit gym. The fittest athletes in our gym average between 18 and 21 reps per minute. And for a workout like this, in this time domain with these movements. So I think you need to start putting thought into that right away with the row, toes bar, wall balls. It's not necessary for you to do big sets. And if you are going to redo this one, there are some people, I want you to take your score from the first one and divide it by 14. All right, get your number, divide it by 14, and that's how many reps per minute you did, and then that can help you build up your pace. So let's touch on, last thing we'll talk about, it's just the overall pacing feel here of, if there's one thing you could have done different, what would it have been? Sam?
Honestly, I just looked at my split times for each movement.
And I crushed it.
And I was so awesome. No, I wanted to finish the cleans with 2 minutes left, and I finished at 12:05, and so I had about 1:55 to do the ring muscle ups. What I think I should have done, honestly, was slow down by another minute, especially on the cleans, because I did 3 minutes for the row. I did 3 minutes for the 50 toes to bar. I did about 2.5 minutes or so for the wall balls. And then I finished the 30 cleans I finished the wall balls by 8:22, and then I finished the 30 cleans by 12:05. But I was so gassed at that point that I was suffering to even get more than one ring muscle up. But I feel like if I slowed myself down by 30 seconds or 40 seconds, especially at the end, I could have maybe gotten a second ring muscle up. But it really depends on whether you can get a ring muscle up. If you can't get a ring muscle up, then you just have to burn your tie break as fast as you can. I was shocked how hard it was at the end. I do think you're right, though. I tried to, and this was a moral victory for me. Every time I got off a movement, I wanted to go straight and do at least a little bit.
Yeah, just chip away.
One or two or whatever it took before I stopped.
Yep.
So if it was going from the row to toes to bar or toes to bar to the wall balls, I wanted to go right to it and do a couple.
Yep.
And I think that mentally that
Smart.
made me feel, because I'm gonna stop somewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't stop and take an extra break at the beginning. Take it when I really need it, 5 or 10 reps in or something like that. But I mean, I just felt so fatigued at the end. So I think people who are really well conditioned are they're gonna have the fuel at the end to bang out whatever they need to.
Kat, if you had to do one thing different, what would it have been?
Hang on to the cleans a little bit more than I did. I think I have to just learn that about myself, that I can really go a little farther than I think, and then in my head, and then I stop, and then I say, oh, I'm so tired.
Yeah, it's so easy to say it after the moment, isn't it?
Totally.
When you're
totally.
in there, like things hurt, you know.
But even when you pick it up again, I say, okay, really? You can keep doing this.
Right.
And then as soon as I stop, I'm like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. That's where I'll tell you what, sometimes it helps. And I try to do this for people, like when I'm watching, supporting them, is like, I'm very objective and honest when I coach. So if you ever hear me say like, hey, you look good right now, like you can do more of these, I'm not trying to be positive to help you. Like, I'm not going to lie in that situation. I think I said to Jules a few times, like, yo, you're moving that bar fast. Right? Like, you probably could hang on. It hurts, but you can do it. If she was catching it low and not getting her elbows through, or like it was coming up uneven, or she like looked bad on the way down, then I'm like, all right, like take a break, short sets. So that's something that hopefully any coaches out there, like that's a piece of advice for you if you're helping someone through this, or any athletes really, because we all help each other through it, is be honest in a workout. Don't only be positive, be honest. Like, hey, you can hang on to that thing. These look great. Jules, if you could do one thing different, what would you do?
It would probably be to not think that there was 20 power cleans.
Know the workout.
Know the workout. That would probably have saved me, I don't know, like 10, 20 seconds.
Yep. And mentally probably would have helped you too.
Yeah, definitely. But I agree with Sam that transitioning is huge in the workout. Just like as soon as you get off the row, go to toes to bar. As soon as you finish toes to bar, go to wall balls.
Yeah. Okay, good. I like that. That's good advice right there. A lot of people want to get to the muscle ups, or a lot of people don't have the muscle up yet. And in scaled, it's pull-ups, chin over bar pull-ups. So you have a lot of people doing scaled that don't have the pull-up yet. And this is going to be one of those workouts. I always say there's magic in the open. We're going to see people get their first muscle up. We're going to see people get their first pull-up. It's going to happen, all right? Now, their strategy for this workout, if you know you're going to get there and you can't get one, or you might not get one, let's say, all right, because I don't like using that word can't, your workout is different. I have to get there as fast as I can to get the best possible tiebreaker. There's people in this gym that can do this work, everything up to the muscle ups, or in scaled up to the pull ups, in probably 8-9 minutes. And they'll be spent. Like, they might not even want to look at the rings and try them, but that will mean a lot for the tiebreaker. So I think you should, if you're going to do some of this reps per minute scale pacing, your number is 180. All right, 180. I just want to make sure 180. Okay, that's 180 reps. That's up to the muscle ups. Divided by 14 is just about 13 reps per minute. And if you're going to try to get there, if you want to get like a fast tiebreaker, if you want to get these 180 reps done in 10 minutes, 18 reps per minute, think about that. That's doable for a lot of people. That's the number in this gym. All right. That's the fastest people move, 18 to 21 reps per minute. Just start thinking about that. If you know, like, hey, I'm just not there on the pull-ups yet for scaled. I'm just not there on the ring muscle-ups for the RX, all right? Make sure you can draw out a pace for yourself and say, hey, if I think I can hang with 20 reps per minute, you're going to have a great tiebreaker time, and that will mean a lot.
Do you think people should repeat this workout if they... Like, when would you give the advice to repeat this workout?
That's a good question. I do think this is repeatable, just because the overall volume of these movements, it's not that high. Like 40 wall balls is not going to make you sore. Don't even think about the rowing in terms of repeat. Like the toes to bar, the flexion and all that, like 50 is in my opinion, that's a very average amount. It's now, as CrossFit evolves, it's probably a below average amount of a workout. Like our average is like 60 to 65 when we do toes to bar. So I think if you're going to do it, I think you need to wait at least 48 hours in between. And so if you do it on a Friday, I think Sunday is an option. Ideally, you would do it Friday morning and Sunday morning. Friday night, get drunk at the open party, and then do it Sunday. Might not be the best move. But I don't think there's any harm in trying. I'll say that. Like, I think if you really are trying to make the top 10% and you're on the bubble, this would be one I would recommend doing again. All right, do we have any closing thoughts, guys? It just got released worldwide that we're hosting the 23.2 announcement. So we get to celebrate that. We told our members yesterday, so we all knew before. And I think we were 100% success rate on no one blowing it on their own social media, which I was worried about the entire time. But this is going to be a special open for us. It's going to be something, it's going to be emotional for some people, including myself. Like, it's going to be a really special, I really can't think of many people I would want the open to start off with you three doing the workout. I mean that, like, have a personal relationship with all three of you guys. And it was awesome. Like, the energy when we start the open, we had 50 people come and watch you guys do the workout. Like, it's special. And I hope we can all take it in, appreciate it, and then just pay it forward to everyone else that's taking on the open workout coming up.
Yep. Good luck, everyone. Have fun.
Good luck.
I want to thank our judges, Alan Grinberg, and who were your judges today?
David Lancelotti.
Yeah, and
Karam.
yeah.
Did you guys get no reps at all?
I did on a wall ball.
Well,
Those are hard to judge too, and
Yeah.
he was really awesome with it.
Yeah.
And thank everyone who was here like today. It feels so special. Like, I don't.
It is.
Whether
Something like it.
It's like the open next week announcement, or just having like us together,
Yep.
like the crew that was here.
Yep.
Like, I just love our community.
Yep.
It's just, they're
special.
so cool, and
Yep.
they make me feel really awesome, even
Yep.
though I'm suffing horribly. So
Yeah.
it was great having everyone just pile in.
Thank you
I
so
thought,
much.
who told everyone we were doing this at 5:15?
I know.
Probably me. So, yeah, thank you again, guys. Good
Thank
luck
you.
to everyone that's taking
Thank
on
you.
23.1, and we will see you very soon. Goodbye. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your day to listen to the HERDFIT podcast. Be on the lookout for next week's episode.